Today we're going to talk about my modded AquaClear 110, which now serves as my hang-on back refugium. First question is, why did you have to mod your AquaClear 110 into a refugium? Well, when you go online to buy a hang-on back refugium, you end up finding products around $200 to $300. The cheap ones that are close to $100 look really dinky. I was in disbelief. I mean, how does a box with a pump and a light amount to $300? Well, I know how. There's simply no market for this type of thing. Most people put their refugiums in their sumps, so the use of hang-on back refugiums are pretty rare. Can't really blame the companies. So I decided to mod my own refugium. I use the AquaClear because it's very customizable and it was also sitting around, so I thought it'd be cool to try something new. Now technically the total cost of this build from scratch is around $135, which is pretty steep, but honestly the coral glue and the Velcro cost me $20, and most people usually have some type of glue lying around in their house, so it would probably be around $115 for most people. But the AquaClear 110 cost me $90, the grow light was $25, and then I bought a timer for about $10 because I'm not going to turn on and off the light every single day. I wish I took a video of how I did this thing, but honestly it wasn't that hard. Basically, I separated the mesh holder thing for the media and put the mesh part on the front of the filter just to make sure no macroalgae flows out of the filter. Then I put the side part of the filter holder on, the side, so the macroalgae doesn't mess with the impeller. Basically, what I was doing is keeping the macroalgae in a controlled area. By the way, I got inspiration for this idea from Inappropriate Reefer, link in bio to his video, but I'm not really that smart enough to think of this on my own, so all credit goes to him. Next step was slapping some Velcro strips on the light and the back of the filter, and then hooking it up to the timer. That's all. I read online that some people like to turn on their refugium light in the night, just so they can keep the pH more stable. I like to keep it on during the day just because it looks pretty cool, and I can trick my friends into thinking I'm doing something actually complicated. Let's go over the results of using it for about 10 months. The biggest thing I've found in my experience is that all the macroalgae I put in it dies, which includes cheato and red gracilaria. So that kind of stinks. I don't know if it's the refugium being too small, or my system can't even sustain those types of algae, but they just don't survive with this refugium. I put a big old sponge for mechanical filtration and some floss on the top to block the light from coming out, which gives more absorption for the algae. The sponge ended up being an anchor for some algae to grow, but over time those algae were consumed by ulva algae and green hair algae. I have no clue where the ulva algae came from, but yeah, it's there alright. The green hair algae grew on the waterfall part of the filter, and I was able to harvest it once a week. Obviously I didn't take everything so it could grow back again. The 3 things I can take away from this refugium in my experience is that you can't grow cheato, you need some type of media that allows smaller algae to get a foothold, and this specific type of refugium allows nuisance algae to grow in a controlled area, which is thankfully not in your tank. Obviously if your nutrients get high, then this wouldn't do as much as algae can grow virtually anywhere. In the end, the hang-on back refugium was a success for what it's worth. It's much better and looked way cooler than the default method of the AquaClear 110. Well, that's all I have. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in a bit.